Thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. I know that it may not seem like a huge milestone, but to me this is a pretty big deal because it marks the end of this channel being treated like a hobby and the beginning of it being treated like a career. So again, thank you so much, and I hope you stick with the channel because there are many more milestones like this to come in the future. But enough about the channel. Today you're going to get to know me a little bit more specifically my taste in games, as I felt it fitting that for 10K I would make a video about my top 10 favorite games. To repeat, I said favorite, not objectively best, so this is literally all my opinion, and just because I put one game above another doesn't mean that on paper it's better. It just means that for one reason or another I like it a little bit more. Also, I haven't played every single game, so I've made a list of some games that I have been meaning to play but haven't gotten around to them yet. This includes Baldur's Gate 3, The Witcher 3, Doom Eternal, Stardew Valley, No Man's Sky, Nioh 2, Celeste, Lies of P, Hades, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. All of these games are critically acclaimed and also my type of game. They're mostly single player, kind of story, character, and exploration driven, so I feel as if I would like all of them, and they could most likely go on my top 10 list if they're as good as people say they are, but I'm not going to give my opinion on them because I obviously haven't played them. But now let's get into the actual video, where first I'll go through my top 10 through 6, then some honorable mentions, then my top 5. Coming in at number 10, we have Destiny 2. Some people are going to see this and freak out. They're going to be like, why not Destiny 1? The reason why I didn't put Destiny 1 on here is first, that I think Destiny 2 is overall a better game. I'm not going to apologize for thinking that. Also, Destiny 1 for me was spent looking at the horizon of endgame content without being able to play it. Destiny 2, I'm able to access all of the content, even though I haven't done everything, I am able to do it. But apart from that, the actual reason why I put Destiny 2 on here is because of, well, many reasons. I absolutely love the game. I don't think it's perfect, but I do love it. Some people are super tryhard with Destiny, and they will play the game as soon as content drops, burn through it all, and then they have to wait for more. I like to buy a season, try it out a little, do the dungeon, maybe try the raid, then I just fall back and I do nothing until the very end of the season, where I have tons of content, literally tens of hours of it, and I can burn through it all. Then that gets me prepared, and I build up momentum, then the next season drops. I play it a little, then I fall off. And it's like this cycle that I go through, but I'm not addicted to the game or anything, I just love playing it. So I let the content build up, then I burn through it, then I let the game kind of settle and just let it build up again. But yeah, generally I think that Destiny 2 is a really good game. It has some flaws, yeah, but I think it's generally more positive than it is negative. And I've had tons of fun with friends on this game, and it's going on the list. At number 9, we have Minecraft, and if I'm being more specific, I mean modded Minecraft, because that's what I like more than vanilla Minecraft. Don't get me wrong, vanilla Minecraft is also fun, and I love having servers with a bunch of other people that may not be able to play, or they don't really understand mods, so I still like normal Minecraft. But if I had to pick one and really say it's my favorite, it's modded Minecraft. There's tons of different ways to play modded. You could play fantasy, sci-fi, difficult, easy, like Sky Factory shit. You can optimize everything. It has near infinite content. You are optimizing everything in almost every mode you're playing. It's a collector's dream. There's just so much stuff to do in that game in almost every version of it. There's really interesting progression in some of them. In some of them, you're just generally getting more powerful, which is also fun in almost any game. And it has infinite replayability. You could play it over and over and over and never play it the same way twice. At number 8, we have Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is actually a recent completion of mine. I beat it just at the end of last year, and I absolutely adored my time playing it. It has amazing combat, some of the best, if not, I might say it's the best combat in any game I've ever played. It's so satisfying, and it's amazing in almost every way, in build variety, also how your toolset interacts with the environment. It's amazing. It also has amazing bosses. If I were to pick one that stands out, it has to be Mantis Lords, which you're seeing on the screen. Not one of it. It is the best boss fight I've ever played in any game. If you have tried Hollow Knight and you just couldn't get into it, I beg of you, just get to this boss fight. And if you finish the boss fight and you still don't love the game, you can drop out of it. By all means, just drop out. But if you can get to that point, I think you'll see that the game has way more to offer than you ever thought it could. It's hard, but not unfair. It's also got amazing exploration, interesting characters, the world is very compelling. It's just great. Also, there's a sequel coming out, Silksong, should be out sometime this century, so now's a good time to get into Hollow Knight because you can play the sequel with all the rest of us when it comes out in 2050 million. At number 7, we have Fallout New Vegas. While New Vegas may not have the best graphics, combat, or optimization, it does have something that the rest of the 3D Fallout games lack, which is depth, specifically in its characters, factions, world, and quests. Okay, I may be exaggerating a bit because the other 3D Fallout games also have that stuff, but it's never utilized to its fullest potential like it is in New Vegas. Almost every major place has a rich history, a few interesting characters, one or more great quests, and interesting bits of world building. And that's what I love about this game. I love going from location to location knowing that there's almost always a reason to go there besides getting loot of some sort. Also, I live near Vegas, so it kind of feels like the game's in my backyard, which I'm sure plays a part in why I like it so much. At number 6, we have Ghost of Tsushima. This game is everything Assassin's Creed wishes it could be. It has great combat, a simple yet meaningful story, good characters, good exploration, great progression, and obviously, absolutely stunning visuals. I'm not one to consider graphics when judging a game, but when a game looks this great, it would be a crime not to mention it. But like I said, it's not just pretty, it's an absolutely amazing game in every single way. I think that because people know I love Infamous, they assume that I think that they should go back to making those games, but I actually think that objectively, this is Sucker Punch's best game. In fact, I think it's their best game by far. So if nothing else, that's kind of a testament to how great this game is, because I'm a huge Infamous fan, but if they can keep cranking out games like this, I say just do it. Fuck Infamous. Oh, I can't say that hurt. Now it's time to reveal some honorable mentions. There's going to be quite a few of these, and these are things that could have gone on the list, but they just didn't quite make it. And there are, I can guarantee you, going to be some games on here that you would put and you would say should go on everyone's top 10. You have them on yours, and you think they should be on everyone's. But guess what? They're not on mine. And these are great games, and I love every single one of them, but they just don't get the top 10. Also, I'm not going to explain why they didn't get into the top 10, because now I'm having to re-record this bit because it took way too long. So now I'm just going to give a brief description of why I love the game and move on. My first honorable mention is going to be Banjo-Kazooie. I love this game, it is super nostalgic, and I used to play it all the time when I was a kid. It's a great game and it holds up to this day. Also, as a kid, I used to think Banjo-Tooie was better. I now know, because I am wiser, that that is completely wrong, and every entry got worse and worse. Next up is Skyrim. I love the huge world because it has tons to explore and it has really interesting characters and lore. God of War 2018 is another game that I really love, primarily for its story and characters. It's got an interesting world and it's overall just a great game. This one's kind of a curveball, but Fortnite Seasons 1 through 5. That's like when I most played. So some may call me an OG Fortniter. And I was, because I have Black Knight, and I have all the OG skins, and you fucking don't, you bitch. Speaking of multiplayer games, Call of Duty multiplayer, I'm just gonna combine them all in this honorable mention, because on here I got COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, sort of Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Modern Warfare Remastered. After that, spoiler alert, Call of Duty started investing in battle royales like Warzone, and it just started becoming a parasite on the franchise, and the franchise has been bad ever since. Just to finish up all the multiplayer games, the last one I have of those is GTA Online, which is a lot of fun with friends. I've put hundreds of hours into it, and it's really grindy, but it's also pretty fun, and you get to unlock a lot of cool shit. Next up, we have Terraria. I love Terraria, it's a great game. I haven't really played it much since I learned how to play it, but I'm playing through it now for the second time, and I just remember how much I love it, and so I'm throwing it on here because I don't think it cracks my top 10, but I still love the game. This one's going to be a little bit confusing, but I'm going to put The Last of Us on here, and the reason I'm putting it on here and not on the actual list is because I've never actually played the games. I know tons about them because I've seen countless videos about both of the games, but I just have never gotten around to play them because I know so much about them. So I'm kind of like, what's the point? But I do really love the stories, and I think the games are great games. I've just never played them, so I can't really rank them. Next up, we have Tears of the Kingdom, which I'm putting that on here instead of Breath of the Wild because I think Tears of the Kingdom is just a better game in every way. So I think that where Breath of the Wild failed, that's also where Tears of the Kingdom failed. But they just failed equally. Where in Tears of the Kingdom, I think the sandbox is a lot more interesting than in Breath of the Wild, which is what made Breath of the Wild interesting. It's also got just a lot more shit to do. So I think Tears of the Kingdom is just objectively a better game. Although I will say that it may have actually gotten on the top 10 list if it wasn't limited by the Switch. So if this game was out like on PC and optimized for like the next generation, this very well could have been on the top 10 because I had tons of fun playing this game. The second to last honorable mention goes to What Remains of Edith Finch. It's basically a movie, but gamified. It's densely packed, where you learn about this family, and it's an indie game, and it's great, and I'm not going to reveal anything because you owe it to yourself to play the game. It's only 2 hours, and it's on Game Pass and also on PlayStation Plus, I believe, so you should just play it. And I'm okay with this being an ad because it's a great game, and it'll make you cry. The last honorable mention goes to the one that's going to make everyone mad, Red Dead Redemption 2. This is not on my top 10. It's on everyone's top 10, but it's not on mine. I love the game, I love the characters, I love the open world, I think it's a beautiful game through and through, but there are just more games that mean more to me. I think if the game was a little bit less linear in how it approaches its kind of encounters, it would go higher on the list. But because every time I play the game, I can see the invisible rails, it really dampens the experience. But I think it still has some of the best characters in all of fiction. It's beautiful and has a great open world, like I said. And if you put it on your list, I think it's totally justified. It may be one of, if not the greatest game of all time. Just not my favorite. And that's it for the honorable mentions. Now let's get into my top 5 favorite games of all time. These are heavy hitters, and I have platinumed every single one of them, except for the last one because it's not really a single game. At number 5, we have Infamous. And oh, earlier didn't you say Ghost of Tsushima was better and to fuck Infamous? First off, that was a joke. Fuck you. I would never say that to Infamous. I love that game. Second of all, now it's subjective time. That was objectively speaking. Now, this is my opinion, and nostalgia plays a part. And because of that, Infamous goes here. And you might be like, what do you mean by Infamous? There's 3 games. I mean all of the games go here. Not all of them. I guess if I had to pick one, I'll just say the first one. But in my mind, I put all of the Infamous games at the same spot. If you know anything about me or the channel, you obviously know what the Infamous series means to me. And because it's in number 5, shouldn't take away from the fact that I love these games. Infamous 1 specifically, I played all the time as a kid. I've literally put hundreds of hours into it. It's a single player game with a 7-hour story, and I've still put hundreds of hours into it. That should show you how much I love these games, because I've done that for both 1 as well as Second Son. Obviously, I haven't done it for 2, like I said in Prodigal Son. I didn't play that one as much, but I still know how good of a game it is, and I've played it since multiple times. But seriously, I love every single one of these games in their own distinct ways. Infamous 1 I love for its characters and setting. I think it has easily the most potential out of every one of the games, and if it were to be remade from the ground up using modern hardware with a brand new vision, but keeping the same kind of style as well as story, it could easily be the best Infamous game, because it just did get shafted by both its time as well as Sucker Punch's inexperience. They didn't have any motion capturing and stuff, which led to a lot of limitations. But, at the same time, limitations brought out some really interesting and creative solutions, like with the stylized cutscenes, which came because they couldn't do normal ones. Infamous 2, even though I love Infamous 1, I can recognize as being an objectively better game. It has better just literally everything. I think the only thing that it has slightly worse is in its setting. I think its setting is not as interesting as Empire City, but that's fine because it works really well with its own story. And Second Son, obviously, everyone knows this, has amazing graphics and feels very fluid. I think that's why a lot of people love Second Son. It's very accessible, people go into it, and it's very flashy and fun to play, but I also feel like it loses a lot of the aspects that make the first two games great. I really think Second Son falls a bit short with its characters, general story, as well as its open world, but apart from that, its minute-to-minute gameplay is what I love about the game. It's very fluid and very beautiful. And at the end of the day, these are superhero games, and I think that they do their job correctly, which is making you feel like a superhero or supervillain. At number 4, we have Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. This game I love purely for its gameplay. Its story I think is good. I'm not really sure. It's really confusing, and I'm not sure if it's trying to be funny or dramatic, but just purely speaking about its gameplay, it's one of the greatest games I have ever played. It's one of those games that gives you so much shit to do, as well as really interesting things to do with all of that shit. There are literally hundreds of ways of approaching every single situation, and you're only limited by your creativity. Because of the amount of content, you can kind of approach things however you want. You can literally have a cardboard box, then find a poster of an anime girl, and that unlocks the anime girl to be put on the cardboard box, so you can use that to distract enemies. If that isn't creative, I don't know what the hell is. And that in general sums up why I love this game. There's so much content and so many ways of approaching that content that you can optimize it in your own specific way. It's a collector's dream, it's super fun, there's build variety forever basically, and I've done all of it. Also, the game has quiet. At number 3, we have Outer Wilds. There's a reason why I describe this game as life-changing in my Outer Wilds timeline video, because this game quite literally changed my perspective of how I live my life. Even with this channel, I live my life now knowing that the beauty of everything is never in the conclusion. It's always in the process. The why of why you're doing something should always matter more than what you're going to get out of it. And the irony behind that is that I wish I would have known that while playing Outer Wilds, because it truly is one of the best games I have ever played. I really don't want to spoil it for you, but if you're really interested in unraveling a narrative, as well as following your own curiosity, if you're independent and think of yourself as a problem solver, you owe it to yourself to play this game. You're going to be frustrated, you're gonna not know what's going on, and that's okay, because at the end, with enough time, you will figure it out. Just be patient and understand that the journey you're going on is far more rewarding than the end result. Although, the ending of Outer Wilds is also one of the greatest endings in any game I have ever played. And if you're wondering why I never went into specifics about this game, it's because in the Outer Wilds community, you never spoil something. It's an unwritten rule that you never ever spoil anything about this game to anyone who has never played it, because you are risking ruining their experience for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. No surprise to anyone, at number 2 we have Elden Ring. Elden Ring is one of the greatest games ever made. In fact, I don't even feel like I have to explain why Elden Ring is such a good game. It's easily one of the most popular games of all time, and everyone knows that it's a good game. It has amazing combat, an amazing world, near perfect exploration, amazing lore, great characters, great bosses, near infinite replayability, and the amount of content that's in the game will be at first overwhelming, then when you beat everything, it will be underwhelming because you'll always want more. Elden Ring was my first Souls-like, and after playing it, I completely understand what people were talking about when they talk about Dark Souls. There's something immensely rewarding with challenging yourself and failing and failing and failing and failing until you eventually beat something. And I know it sounds kind of corny, but that's a skill that could actually help you in the real world. Learning to practice something until you eventually perfect it. Never giving up, because at some point, you will succeed. But yeah, I absolutely love this game. I cannot wait for the DLC to come out, and I really hope there's sequels to this game. There could not be, and that might honestly be a good thing, but for the DLC specifically, I don't even give a shit about anything else in my life. I'm dropping everything, including this channel, playing through the DLC, and I can pick up my responsibility after. That's how much I love this game. Coming in at number 1, we have Call of Duty Zombies. I know absolutely everything about Zombies, everything about its gameplay, its story, and its community. I've been a part of this community and this game for 10 plus years, and I will never get sick of it. I could play this game for the rest of my life. And I know that it's kind of cheating saying Call of Duty Zombies is a game, because it's not. It's like 5 different games. It's kind of difficult to judge, because if this was split into 5 different games, it would take up all of the top 5 slots, which isn't really fair. And that should tell you how much I love Zombies, that it's so unfair to put Zombies as their own specific games that I have to give other games room by putting Zombies all into one game and placing it in the number 1 slot. And if you're curious as to which games I'm specifically referring to, I mean World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and Cold War Zombies. Those are what I consider Treyarch zombies. I know there are some games outside of that and some maps and stuff outside of that, and I know there are other studios that have made zombies, but I mean Treyarch Call of Duty Zombies. Basically what everybody would think of when you say Call of Duty Zombies. I really could sit here and talk about how much I love zombies, but really it's hard to describe how much it means to me. I have literally played this game every single step of my life. I continue to go back and play it, and every time I do, I realize why I love it. I've been immersed in this world for 10 plus years, and I do not regret a single second of it. I love the zombies community, I love the game, and I love the story. There would have to be a truly groundbreaking and world-changing game to make me change this from the number 1 slot, because this has just been a part of my life for so long that I can't see how anything else would top it. And that's the whole list. That's the entire video, and I will probably make another one of these, but it won't be until the list is majorly changed. Until it's like almost completely different, I probably will just leave this up. Also, I know that this was a little bit less refined than my actual videos, but that's what the members videos are all about. They're all about me kind of just saying shit, because you want to see my personality bleed out a little bit more than in the main channel videos, which are all about the content. Also, if you have any ideas for more members only content, put it in the comments below, because I'm always looking to give you guys more stuff because you guys pay for it. So I want to give you as much as possible. So tell me what you want to see and I'll make it.